Hey guys, was I live that entire time or was I just losing my mind? Because it was showing that I was live and then I looked over at my computer and it said that I was not live. So can somebody tell me, if anybody's in the chat right now, can somebody tell me, was I live that whole time or was I not? Because it said I was, but then for some reason it kicked me out. I need to know before I start talking again. Now you can hear it. Could you see me? I don't know what the heck was going on because I did a countdown and then I looked over at my computer and it said that it was live and then I was talking to you guys. As you can see, I have King Elias's thing up on the screen and I was talking for about 5 minutes and then I look over and it said go live and I had already went live. I did the countdown and everything. It's something was going on with it today and I don't know what it is, but it seems like it's always going on, but I guess I have to redo everything that I just did. So what I said to you guys is that my scent of the day is Louis V7 Cobalt. It's a really nice Bleu de Chanel clone style fragrance and it's a little bit higher quality. It has its own little twist, a little bit fresher, but it's a really nice blue if you haven't tried it. With that said, I want to let me know what your scent of the days are. I'll go back to the top of the chat. I saw John Carlo was here. I said, hey, John Carlo, what's going on, man? Just saw you. And I said, scent of the day is Latafa Teriyaki Intense. I haven't tried it. Let me know what it's about. Then I said, Kara, hey, I know you have dinner right now, so thanks for stopping in. Your scent of the day is Boss Bottled Absolute. And then I said, I don't have a bottle of that, but I like it. It's just a little bit too strong for me, and I find a little bit too much of a redundancy, but I do like Chrome Pure, but thanks for stopping in. But I had said that already. Then I said King Elias. It's Nashana Desiro. I'm not sure if it's Desiro or Desiro. I think it's Desiro because it looks like Desire, but I'm not 100% sure. I said that already, but let me know. How do you say that? And then I said, there's Newt. Me and him were just having a fight, and it was kind of a funny fight on Ross's live stream. He's wearing Bois d'Or, and Sin of the Night is Evening Mystique. And I said, great job, Newt. And then I said, oh, speaking of Newt, he sent me 2 fragrances. One is Precious Treasure by Zaharoff, which I am wearing on my hand right now. The other one, I had to put into a different decant. I just found out within that 5 minutes of time that it didn't spray, so I was re-decanting it while I thought I was on a live. But it is Panadora's Moonlight, because the other one didn't spray. And then I said, if we have time, we're also going to get to the other ones that I have here, which I got from Cologne Curators, which is another decant site. And they sent me another one that you guys asked for, which is City Rhythm Puerto Rico, Nishane's Fan Your Flames X. We also have Louis Vuitton's Meteor, Tobacco Honey by Guerlain, and because I haven't tried it in 2 years, I wanted to try it again, Bulgari Tiger. I also have Blonde Amber and Masculine Pluriel, both coming that will be here in a few days. And then I've already tried this, but Newt also sent me John Varvatos XX Intense. I really like the opening. The dry down isn't much. It's okay. It's a good one, but it's not something that I would recommend anybody really going out of the way to buy unless you really, really like John Varvatos. But the XX Intense is a nice cool weather fragrance. It smells like other things that are out there, but I appreciate, just in case I needed to do a video or something, I appreciate you sending that to me. And then the last one that I have is Initio's Oud for Greatness Neo, which I haven't tried before, so very interested to try that. So I'm glad that you guys can hear me now. Probably ruined however many people were in here, but with that said, traffic. Hey everybody, scent of the day was Givenchy and Flame. Nice, man. Hopefully you're doing well. What's up, Kevin from Lakeland, Florida? Hopefully you're having a fantastic day as well. But that probably ruined it all. Like ruined how many people were coming in because it didn't start at the right time. I'm not sure exactly what's going on, and I'm probably going to have to go back and edit it because I was live for 5 minutes. It just, for some reason, it wasn't doing anything. Anyway, so I first want to talk about this. This is Zaharoff's Precious Treasure. But before I do, I want to let you guys know, so I didn't post any videos since Monday. And there's a reason behind that because now with the holidays coming up, I have like 7 or 8 videos already recorded. It's just I'm working 12-hour days right now, and so I had no time to edit. and at the times that I was going to edit, it wouldn't have made sense to post them at like 1 a.m. And so I decided that I'm going to just post all those videos. I'm going to edit them tomorrow, which is my day off. And then I'm going to post them Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. So you guys will get 7 videos in a row, most likely, unless something happens. But now that the holidays are pretty much upon us, hopefully you guys are doing good. I have a video, top 10 winter fragrances. I have a video that is ranking some of the fragrances, like fragrance companies out there, designer fragrance companies, a bunch of other things. But yeah, hopefully you guys are doing well today. And then MPG Fragrance is wearing Niche Hot Tobacco. Oh, nice. I haven't heard of that one, but sounds interesting. Anything with tobacco in it is definitely something that I'm interested in. So anyway, let's talk about Precious Treasure by Zaharoff. So I haven't bought a fragrance since, let's see, what was it? September 5th was the last time I bought a fragrance. And as a fragrance reviewer, you're probably like, what's going on? Well, I bought 37 fragrances in the first 2 months of the year. Then I bought like another 20 or 30 after that. It was just, once the end of the year started coming, I had a bunch of shit that happened, like cars and my teeth and all kinds of stuff that happened. And I had a tree fall into my garage. I had to get that repaired. I had a lot of shit going on, so I haven't bought any fragrances. So I wasn't about to buy a $350 or whatever bottle of Precious Treasure. But thankfully, Newt was going to send it to me. And from what I hear is they're going to re-release it next year when they do the second release for the Zaharoff. That's what I'm hearing. But it comes in a nice, it almost looks like the Alien Man by Mugler bottles, but like higher class. It looks like it's almost made out of wood. I'm not 100% sure if it is or not. Then it comes in a treasure chest. But anyway, I sprayed it on about 4 hours ago. It's very simplistic. And when it comes to Zaharoff fragrances, you normally don't say simplistic when it comes hand in hand with Zaharoff fragrances. And it's definitely a very masculine fragrance. This is a fragrance that is definitely made for, I'm not going to say the niche snobs, because that's just not a kind word, but it's going to be for those that are very interested in the unique style of fragrances. It's not going to be something that like the everyday average Joe is going to want to wear. And I can tell you, for me personally, I am glad that Newt sent me a decant, because I personally wouldn't buy a bottle based on my personal taste. Whenever it first opens up, and literally through the entire fragrance, at least to where I am now, it does freshen up a bit, and it gets a little bit less. Well, it starts out, it's very almost like a smoked woods. And that smoked woods is mixed together with something that comes across to me almost like a slight hint of motor oil. I don't know why, but me and my wife both said the same thing. It almost has this slight edge of like a motor oil tinge. And it smells like something I've smelled before. I was thinking of other things that smelled like, had an oily smell to it, like Dior Fahrenheit or something like that, but I can't quite put my finger on it. It reminds me of those heavy masculine woody fragrances like Penhaligon's Halfeti Cedar, and Newt was saying Creed Spice and Woods. It reminds me of that. It's spice and woods mixed together, and it has like a smoked woods. And so with that, it has this dense richness underneath it, not like an ambery richness or anything, but that richness, with the smokiness, it kind of comes off to me as like a little bit of almost like a slight motor oil tinge. And so I'm not 100% sure why I get that smell. And overall, it's not going to be something that I'm going to want to pick up from the Zaharoff line. I can see a lot of people, like in my chat right now, I know Newt would like it. It is his style of fragrance. I'm pretty sure Joel would like it, but Joel is all over the board with the style of fragrances that he likes, so I'm not 100% sure, but I think that he would like it. I haven't seen it if he's purchased it or not. And then Mo, I actually think this might be something that Mo would like, because Mo does, he lingers on the edge of liking things I like and liking things that Newt likes, and I think it's right directly on that edge. And so, because me and Newt we have similar styles that blend together, but when it comes to our own personal loves, I'm usually on one end of the spectrum, and he's on that more masculine, woody edge. And so, it's just for me, um, it's a very non-complex fragrance, very simplistic, smoked woods that has a little bit of a spicy undertone and almost like a slight, again, like almost like Middle Eastern motor oil. That's the what I get from it. But I understand that the people who love those unique, eclectic style fragrances are going to very much enjoy this. It's just not something that I can see myself wearing out in public. Like, it's not going to be something that is going to pull a bunch of compliments. It's a work of art, and I can see how high quality the fragrance is. I mean, it's super high quality. You can smell it. It literally smells like you're smelling a smoked log. And so, I don't know. Somebody said Luke nailed it, so let's see what he said. So what's up, Luke? Scent of the day is Precious Treasure is interesting to me. No scent of the day, sorry. Precious Treasure is interesting to me. When I smell it, it's difficult. But any other time, it'll waft to me. I get more pepper woods and an unscented waxy. Am I reading this wrong? And this unscented wax. Oh, very faintly. Okay, I was reading that all together. Okay, so I'm a few hours in, and that's why I said, well, as it dries, it actually does get this, now that unscented wax. And if you wouldn't have said that, I would have never said it. But as it starts to dry, that woody, spicy nuance that really comes across, like almost like a slight smoked motor oil, like I said to you guys, like, but very woody. That starts to die down, and it gets a little softer, and it is a little bit fresher. And then again, it has this kind of like faint waxy smell. So I do understand what you're saying. Because I tried to, I'll be honest, I tried to wash it off like an hour ago. It was just a little bit too much from my wife, and it didn't come off. So it's a strong fragrance. But with that said, I understand there's going to be people in FragCom that really enjoy it. It's just, for me, this is one that you should try before you buy, and I know you can't do that. But whenever they do, if they do re-release it, I think it's something that you should definitely give a shot if you like more masculine, woody fragrances. Because that's what it is at its core. It's like 80% woods mixed together with a bit of spice, and then almost like it's a smoked woods. And then underneath that, like he said, again, I would have never said it, but Luke, very, very well put. That pepper is the spice. I'm not sure if it's some kind of like pimento or whatnot mixed together with it, and then you have that slight wax. I do understand what you're saying, and it's unscented. I completely understand what you're saying. I have Precious Treasure, but I'll wait until Christmas to open it. Ugh, wife. My wife actually, I bought her like, let's see, 11, 12 gifts. And so far I've already given her 4 of them because she's like, man, I wish I had my vacuum. And I'm like, yeah, well, I got you one, so I'll just give it to you now so you can have it for this weekend because our other vacuum broke. And then she's like, I just ran out of my earplugs. I was like, well, I got you a pair of those too, so I might as well just give that to you. And she's like, but you shouldn't. I'm like, you already know I'm going to give them to you. You already know I have them, so I'm just going to give them to you now. But I have 7 other gifts for you. Just when Christmas comes, just know that your big gift was the $300 vacuum. So there you go. Anyway, and how about I got my daughter a necklace, a heart locket necklace. It was 14 karat white gold heart locket and 14 karat gold chain from Zales. So like a real jewelry company. It arrived to my house, and the necklace was 14 karat gold, but the locket was plastic. And I know that because I took a magnet to it, and it wasn't like coated in white gold or anything like that. It was plastic. And so I took it back to Zales, and they gave me a $100 gift card and returned it and said, we're so sorry. We have no idea why that happened. So be careful with Zales. Well, King Elias, what I do, and if anybody is smart, this is the best way to do it. Tell your wife to put anything that she sees throughout the year into the Amazon cart and then hit it for save for later. And then when it comes to September, October, you can just start buying those things little by little by little. And then guess what? All the things that she put in that Amazon cart throughout the year that she didn't necessarily need at that time, as long as it's not a seasonal item, then man, you got yourself all your Christmas gifts that you ever need. That's the way I do it. It started about 4 years ago. She put a bunch of stuff in the save cart. I just decided to buy it, and so that's the best way to go about making the wife or girlfriend happy. Tell her to put it into the Amazon cart, and then she'll forget about it by the end of the year. And then, guess what? She got herself 12 gifts, and you could spread out the payments all over like 4 months of just buying one item here, one item there, and that's the way to do it. But overall, Precious Treasure. So I really like the Zaharoff brand. Some of my favorites are Tabac, Aurum, Business Over Pleasure is my favorite. Citrine is great. The new Seraphim Blue and Seraphim Red are really nice. I would say this is probably outside of my top 10 Zaharoffs. It's probably number 10 or 11 though. So yeah. King Elias, a shared cart. So no, not a shared cart. So she'll put it in there, and then whenever, like me and my wife share like logins and all that stuff. So I mean, it's not like I have anything to hide, or she does. So I'll just go and I'll log into her account, her Amazon account, later down the road, and just buy it little by little by little. And who cares? She won't see it. She doesn't have notification. But my wife is also not technologically savvy, so like I turn the notifications off for her Amazon packages and stuff. So yeah. But anyway, what's going on, AS? Hopefully you're having a great day, everybody. If I didn't mention your name, like everybody, all y'all, hopefully you're having a great day. Giancarlo, I announced you out in the opening, but I had to re-announce you out in the opening because of the fact that I was going live for 5 minutes and I wasn't actually live. So I was talking to myself. Bills. So here's my issue with the Bills. So the Buffalo Bills are the best team in the league on offense, but they've probably been the best team on offense for the last, I would say, five years. They've been better than the Chiefs on offense every year. And they've always done this 20-30. I mean, yes, this is the best year of the 5. But the thing is that throughout the regular season, you can get away with winning 42 or 48-35 or 48-42 or whatever it might be. You can get away with doing that. But when you meet up with teams like the Kansas City Chiefs in the playoffs, you're not going to get away with that. And that is why every single time that even if the Chiefs have 15 seconds left on the clock, they can get a 50-yard bomb and it just on the Bills, because the Bills defense, when it comes down, like they could have beat Detroit yesterday by 30 points, but their defense just kept them in the game the entire time. And it's just the Bills defense since like 4 years ago has just been atrocious. And that is why the only way they're going to win is if Kansas City loses before they get to the AFC Championship. Because if the Bills get to the AFC Championship, you mark my words right now, Josh Allen will still play great, but they will not do enough to get out of that game without their defense playing like at least a semi-decent game. And that is why yesterday with the Steelers, which is my team, they looked like crap against the Philadelphia Eagles. But if you actually take 2, maybe 3 penalties out of that game could have been flipped 27-13 Steelers over Eagles. Even though the Eagles just absolutely dominated us, TJ Watt went out half the game. We were missing our starting safety. Our starting corner had a back injury. Then our backup corner got an injury. So it was a bad game for the Steelers. I get it. And our starting wide receiver was out. So, but we have a great defense. And so that is something that in the playoffs, if we beat Baltimore this weekend, we will get a home game. The Steelers actually might do something this year because of the defense, not because of Russell Wilson. But as long as everybody on the offense is healthy, we can do enough on offense where our defense can keep us into a game. And I can't say that about the Bills. And so the Bills, while they would demolish the Steelers in Buffalo, they wouldn't demolish the Steelers in Pittsburgh. And so it all depends on where Buffalo gets their home games. And right now, they're not going to get a home game against Kansas City, so they won't win. And so that's the issue. I want Josh Allen to win. And so AS, you want to know something? Josh Allen's college quarterback coach and the quarterback coach that was on Josh Allen's team when Josh Allen for his first 3 years, and then he got promoted to Green Bay for Aaron Rodgers, and he's still in Green Bay right now, was my quarterback in high school, Jason Vrabel. And so he actually was with Josh Allen for all 4 years, or 3 or 4 years in college, and then he also was with him for the first 3 years in Buffalo. So I really root for Josh Allen. It's just I don't see anything happening with, yeah. Healthy Lions win that game easily yesterday. Yeah, healthy Lions defense. Lions defense is literally on like third graders now. Like they have like, I think there's like 16, 15 defenders that are out right now. And they're on like their third string for both linebackers. I mean, it's not good. But that's just like Buffalo. As soon as the Lions meet the Eagles, the Lions are done. It's because the Eagles are a well-rounded team right now, and the Lions are just a superstar team on offense. They'll still play a close game, and the Lions might edge out the Eagles, but from what I saw from the Eagles so far, Lions won't beat the Eagles unless they get Aiden Hutchinson back, which is not going to happen. So I still see the Lions. I still see the Lions going to the NFC Championship, but I also could see them losing in the first round just because of that fact. And there's a lot of really good top-heavy teams in the NFC. But the Lions are just so good on offense. I don't see them not making the NFC Championship. But they'll lose to the Eagles. But it'll be a closer game than what you would think. Just like Bills-Chiefs. It'll always be close, but until the Bills can figure out that defense. But anyway, we're talking about fucking fragrances here. I love football, so I get hooked into that. Let's try out this one. I haven't sprayed it on yet. This is called Pana Dora Moonlight. He said he sent this to me because he didn't think I would like Precious Treasure. Newt was right. And so, here we go. And he was right twice. Oh my goodness. Wow. Oh, sweet, fruity, slightly nutty and chocolatey. Oh, is that plum? Oh, this is one of the best fragrances I've smelled this year. That is amazing. Absolutely amazing. It's high quality, fruity. You definitely get some plum mixed in there. I think it's plum. I'm really good with plum, so I think it's plum. Mixed together with a slight like nutty and semi-chocolatey vibe. It almost smells like if you took Zaharoff. I can't remember what the name is. It's a nutty, sweet fragrance from Zaharoff. Anyway, it's almost like if you took that fragrance. If somebody can tell me in the chat, then please tell me. But is Zaharoff something? I can't remember. But it's almost like if you took that and dialed down the heavy sweetness and then added in this nice, warm, fruity plum. And then you had a little bit of like a tobacco chocolatey goodness underneath. Oh, it's so freaking good. I'll be honest with you guys. I have been very disappointed with fragrances lately. Maybe I'm not trying the right ones. I don't know. The only one that has really provided me some love in the last 4 or 5 months is Rock Rose from Clive Christian. That one really made me stop in my tracks and say, okay, this is really getting me interested. But I've been kind of getting to the point where I'm almost de-interested in the fragrance releases lately. And while this isn't a new release, this is a fragrance that... No, it's not Zaharoff Lyra. It's... I can't remember the name. I wish I could remember it. I have tried Kajal Aiken. Kajal Aiken is a pineapple and jammy rose That's what this fragrance smells like just throughout the whole thing. It's very cloyingly sweet, but at the same time, it's very, very nice. It has the same level of sweetness and jamminess that you get with like, what's that? Bade Al Oud Sublime. It has that same type of like jammy sweetness, but then you have that pineapple on top, which kind of balances out the rose. And so I do like Kajal Aiken. I was talking about Kajal, the other one. Kajal Aiken is really good. Never mind. Okay, scratch that and reverse it. That's the original Kajal. I'm talking about Kajal Aiken now. Kajal Aiken now is kind of in the realm of what is that? God of Fire, Lamari Porthole, where it has this kind of juicy, fruity, tropical fruit, and mixed together with a little bit of musk and a slight bit of like almost like of a vanillic tone. Kajal Aiken is up there as a really nice summertime juicy fruit style paradise fragrance. And so, yeah, I was talking about Lamar. Aiken is the good parts of Lamar without the rose, from somebody said. Is that what you were saying? Aiken is the good parts of Lamar, Ani, and Porthole. Yeah, I can see that, except for it doesn't have that rose, like that jammy rose from Lamar, and so I just put that together. But it does have the pineapple. Yeah, so I guess I can see that. And then it has the vanilla from Ani. It has a little bit of the powderiness from Ani. So yeah, I can see that. It actually makes a lot of sense. I'm gonna stick with that. Next time I talk about that fragrance, I'm sticking with that. I'm stealing it and coining it. Thanks, King Elias. Appreciate you. Peacekeeper, I'm going back. Peacekeeper, I need to find your message. Sorry, I missed some messages here. Has anyone tried Rockstar or Soldado by Carner? I haven't heard of the brand, sorry, but it seems like somebody else has. I'm trying to think of this stupid Zaharoff now. I know Hamzat, one of my moderators, he sent it to me before, and he thought that I was going to really like it. It's supposed to be like an Italian dessert. It's Zaharoff something, and I can't remember it. But anyway, Panadora Moonlight, if you guys like semi-gourmand fragrances, this is the one. So it starts out, again, it's even melting more into that Zaharoff. It's just so much better. I wish I could remember the Zaharoff name. But if you like plum, if you like a tobacco, like a chocolatey tobacco, mix that together with some amber and a little bit of sweetness and maybe some vanilla. Yeah, this is a high quality gourmand, fruity gourmand with a little bit of a sweet ambery backbone. And as it's starting to creep in, that plum is starting to go down, which I'm not as happy about because I love the plum and I think the opening is yeah, there it is. Italica. Thank you, Newton Moe. It is Zaharoff Italica. And I think it's Italica. But that is the fragrance. So picture that fragrance, but then kind of just dumb that entire fragrance into the background of this one. And then on top of it, it's not as sweet, it's not as cloying, and it's definitely not as powdery. But then you add that beautiful plum in the opening, and then you also add in a nice like chocolatey tobacco and some spice. This is beautiful. I'm giving this a 9. This is a 9 out of 10. Panadora's, I'm buying it. Moonlight by Panadora, and they also have a super sick bottle. Their bottles have the reindeer antlers at the top or whatever it is. I'm totally buying that. I am buying that like 100%. It is a perfect fall and winter fragrance centered around the winter, which we are going into right now. So, I mean, that's absolutely sick. What's up, Novice? How you doing, buddy? What's up, Randy? In chat, center of the day is Luciano Magnitude. The last fragrance you were discussing sounds interesting. I caught it at the tail end of it. This is called Panadora, Panadora, and it's Moonlight. Really cool bottle, and they're like $200 and some, but if you go on discounters, they're a little bit less. It is kind of in the realm of the Zaharoffs, the Penhaligons, like that style of brand. But with that said, This is the third one I've tried from Panadora. And the other two, I loved one and I hated the other. This one is the best of all three. Panadora Moonlight, if you like semi-sweet gourmands that have a nice fruity overtone, a little bit of a chocolatey, it has a lot of facets going. So we went from Precious Treasure by Zaharoff, that's very simplistic, woody masculine, to a unisex leaning masculine Panadora Moonlight that is complex. There's a lot going on. There's the plum, there's the spice, there's the amber, there's the sweetness, there's a little bit of powder, slight creamy undertone, a little bit of a vanillic tone. Then you also do have that like almost gourmandish like bakery facet to it, and then you mix that together with the tobacco and chocolate in the background. It literally smells like a chocolatey cigar underneath. But yeah, I'd give that a 9 out of 10. I think it's beautiful, it's drying down, and it's getting a little bit more chocolatey, but I love it. I love it. Absolutely love it. But anyway, novice, hopefully you're having a great day. Not smelled Lamar, but Icon comes with a sample of it, so I'll see how I feel about it. So both of them are summertime fragrances. I mean, spring, summer, however you look at it, but they're definitely based around summer. But Kajal Lamar, I like it. It's one of the easiest wear rose fragrances because that pineapple just kind of it mellows out the rose, and because the rose is more of a jammy rose, it kind of just mellows it out. But it's very simplistic as far as it's pineapple and rose with a little bit of undertones of this and that, but it's those two are the main facets of the fragrance. And then Icon fits into almost like a vanilla mixture of porthole and pieces of Kajal Lamar. It's more of that paradise style fragrance, while Kajal Lamar is just pineapple and rose. I got a great clone of Lamar, a twist, but close. Which one is it? Because Kajal Lamar you can get for like 80, 70 bucks, right? I love gourmands and tropical fruit. Yeah, you'll probably like Icon. You'll like Lamar. You'll like Porthole. You'll also like Panadora because this is a great wintertime fragrance. But I could also see you wearing Panadora's Moonlight at the nighttime during the spring and summer. It can definitely be worn at night. But during those times, it'd be a little bit more situational. What's up, Smacked? How you doing, buddy? And Kara's back. What's going on, Kara? Hopefully your dinner was good. My wife is a manager at Bruegger's, so she brought home some bagels, and we had some pizza sauce, and so we made some pizza bagels. With that said, we're gonna move on to. Okay, I'm just gonna tell you guys. So I tried this one out earlier, and I don't like it. City Rhythm Puerto Rico. There was a lot of hype around this. No, it's not very good. I like City Rhythm. I don't mention them much anymore because I don't want to get in between the perfumer and the owner, because the perfumer of City Rhythm then left City Rhythm. There was a big argument, and now he owns Prisma, and then they both were trying to get me to review different fragrances and talking shit about the other one. I was like, I'm Switzerland in this situation now, and so I'm going to stop talking about it. But I got City Rhythm Puerto Rico, and I got to be honest, out of all the ones I've ever tried, Manhattan Midnight, Miami, Austin, San Diego, this is the worst one. If you've tried it and you like it, great. It's super cloying and not for me. I will do a review on it. That's why I'm being vague, because I do have a very large portion of it. But I'm going to end up giving this away to somebody because it's not my cup of tea. And I talked to Josh. I don't remember for some reason what his name on Instagram is right now. But, Elroy Prepson. I talked to Josh from Elroy Prepson, and he agrees. He said, you got Puerto Rico coming? I was like, yeah. He goes, you're not going to be happy with that. It's not good. So, yeah. It kind of smells like laundry detergent mixed together with like almost like a gourmand mixed together with laundry. It's almost like it's trying to be fresh and clean and airy, but at the same time it's trying to be like a warm winter fragrance. And then you throw them together, and then it's just like, what the fuck is this? Doesn't smell good. I don't know. There was people that were saying it was like, oh my God, one of the best from City Rhythm. Not even close. I don't know who could like that. And if you like it, I mean, great. But it's definitely not even close to one of them. But Miami and Manhattan are my favorites. Even back to the originals, Miami and Manhattan. Austin, I believe, is the one that I found too close to Angel Share to warrant me saying it's one of the best. But with that said, Miami, it's like a key lime pie. It smells like a key lime pie. It's great. And then you have Manhattan, which is their most unique fragrance. The original batch of Manhattan, I gotta say, from way back when, is the one that I own. And that one, I have tried the new batch of Manhattan, and the new batch of Manhattan isn't as good as the old batch. So I'm glad I have the old batch of that. But those are my two favorite. Um, you're up late. What's up, Sandy? How you doing? Good evening, rating. Scent of the day is scent of the evening, obviously. Mancera Red Tobacco. You're wearing red tobacco to sleep, Sandy. That's an interesting one. It's like 2 or 3 a.m. where you are, right? They are overpriced. I've said they were overpriced from the beginning. They're like 160, 180 bucks. That's why I don't really buy their bottles very much. If I do buy anything, it's like a decant. But like, if you look at comparable brands out there, for instance, Making Sense, they have Fallen Leaf, which is a really nice twist on 1 Million Privé and Wanted by Night. And the comparable prices, that's $100 cheaper for that fragrance. And so like, and they have comparable levels of like the quality. And so that's why, yeah. Nicholas, you should definitely check out Panadora. Panadora is, if you like semi-sweet fragrances or gourmand fragrances, Panadora Moonlight is great. I can't remember. If you look back on a few lives ago, I talked about a different Panadora, and I like that one as well. I can't remember the name, but they were completely different style of fragrances. Hey, Grim, you have a great evening as well. Hopefully you're doing well. Hopefully you have a great week. The Aqua de Dora, was that the one I tried? I can't remember. I'm off tomorrow as well, so don't mind staying up a while longer. Well, I appreciate you, man. I just want to make sure I don't miss anybody else, and then we're going to get into another one here. Newt. Rain, what do you think of Blonde Amber? Interested to see if you enjoy. That one is still on its way, Newt. So he said that he was going to send me all of them, and then he didn't send me all of them. But I do want to try this one. A lot of people were asking me to try this, and so I want to try. The last two we're going to try on the stream today are Guerlain's Tobacco Honey and Initio's Oud for Greatness Neo. And then we'll save Fan Your Flames X, Tigar, Louis Vuitton's Meteor for next time. But we're going to start out with Tobacco Honey. This is by Guerlain. I've seen this for a while, and I've been wanting to just get my hands on it. And it's fantastic. Pricey, but fantastic. Let me see what the price is for this. I forget. Guerlain Honey Tobacco. $395. I bet you, like, and they're not the ones that you can find on discounters very often. The only discounters you can usually find that on, if you want to find it on a sale, would be Max Aroma, it looks like, which you're still going to be paying over $300. Do I think it's worth that? Yeah, I do. I actually think it's great. So what does it smell like? Well, immediately, as soon as you hit it, it's called honey tobacco, or tobacco honey. Yeah, tobacco honey. It smells like a very high quality, dry, leafy tobacco mixed together with a nice, rich dose of honey. And just like tobacco vanille, how that's very simplistic, is tobacco, vanilla, and spice. This is tobacco, honey, spice, and woods. But I would say, as far as the order of what you can smell, as far as being the heaviest, is tobacco, spice, honey, woods. And it's really freaking high quality. It literally smells... It smells like you're in a cigar parlor and you have like a honey candle lit or something, like a beeswax candle lit. Oh, that's so freaking high quality. I love it. This is really good. I don't even. Dude, you guys, if you like fragrances like Tobacco Vanille, this reminds me of Tobacco Vanille, but if you exchange the vanilla for honey, you can smell the honey. Like the honey. So I just got a jar of Manuka honey from New Zealand. And if you guys don't know, Manuka honey is a very pricey honey that is used for medicinal purposes. A lot of times, if you have a cold, you know how they always say, like, put a spoonful of honey in your tea or whatever. Well, Manuka honey is actually the spoonful that they're talking about. It helps colds. It's also used in a lot of medicinal. They also can use it as a hallucinogenic or whatever at certain times if you have like a certain quantity of it and eat it at the same time. But anyway, there's a very strong smell to it, and it's not the same smell that you would get from Honey Bear for like a $4 thing that you'd find at your local supermarket. It's a high quality honey, and it's the same smell that you get in Zaharoff Aurum and the same smell that you get in this. Zaharoff Aurum, it is very front and center, and you can smell it. It's the main smell in the first 15 minutes of that fragrance. This one, it's dialed down. So imagine if you've smelled Zaharoff Aurum, take the tobacco from Tobacco Vanille, because I can say the tobacco from this and Tobacco Vanille, maybe this one might be a little bit higher quality as far as the smell and the way that they repurposed it to make it smell supernatural. But take that very smooth, leafy, dry tobacco and then add a little dose of honey in it. It's almost like you took the tobacco and added a spoonful of honey and then added a little bit of spice. I think it smells like a little bit of black pepper and cinnamon. And it's so freaking good. I'll pay $300 for this. I don't even care. It's this good. That's the best tobacco fragrance I've ever smelled in my entire life. That's a 10. I think that is a 10. That is the first 10 that I will ever give on my channel. Tobacco Honey by Guerlain is the first 10 that I will ever give to a fragrance. I think that might be my favorite fragrance. Huh. Looks like I'm spending $395. I know a lot of people, when you smell this, you're going to say, how is he going to rank that a 10? So I really love tobacco fragrances, especially tobacco fragrances that have a similar style to that of Tobacco Vanille. People can say all they want. Tobacco Vanille is still one of the best fragrances out there. And if you're one of the people that don't think that, then you're not going to agree with me. Because this has the same style as Tobacco Vanille, but it's a little bit higher quality. And just the mixture of the honey and the spice instead of the vanilla and spice, it just amps it up a bit. And the way that they blended it together, it is a better blend than Tobacco Vanille, which is hard to do. But I'm leaning on saying this is a 10. I'm going to have to give it a full wear. I don't think giving it a 10 right off the bat without smelling the dry down is fair. So I'm going to stick with a 9.7 out of 10, which is the highest score I've ever given on my channel. And I'll let you guys know on my next live stream if it is the first 10 ever. It's great. It is absolutely fantastic. I don't know. I did not expect it to be that great. Tobacco Honey opens up like Zaharoff Naxos minus the lavender. See, I don't agree. And the dry down smells like Initio side effect. I know because I have a bottle of Tobacco Honey. See, I don't think it smells anything like Zaharoff Naxos. Zaharoff Naxos has that honeyed patchouli that is the basis of the fragrance, kind of like the patchouli and stuff like that that you get from Amen Pure Havana. And that the way that they mix the tobacco and honey in that one, The tobacco doesn't come off like a dry, leafy tobacco in Zaharoff Naxos. And so, and I have a very hard time. I mean, if that's what way it comes off to you, awesome. I have a very hard time thinking that this is going to dry down like an Initio side effect. Because Zaharoff Naxos, here, I have Zaharoff Naxos right here. Yeah, not, I don't get that at all. Yeah, see in tobacco honey, the tobacco is a lot more pronounced than it is in Zaharoff Naxos. While Zaharoff Naxos leans very heavy on the honey, this is a small dollop of honey, and the honey's there, and but yeah, I find this way different than Zaharoff Naxos personally, and for me, I don't see it going into Initio side effect because Initio side effect, for me, the dry down of that is where that rum really becomes a main part of the fragrance mixed together with the sweetness and the spice. I don't get any tobacco or anything really from that fragrance. And so that's where I can't see this forming into that because there's no rum and there's none of the vanilla and stuff like that. Like, I don't see it forming into that personally. Again, if that's what you get from it, cinnamon bark, rum, tobacco, saffron, sandalwood, hedoin. Yeah, see, I get the hedoin and side effect is what I get the most of. But I was looking to see because I wore side effect yesterday, and I was like, I don't really get much tobacco from that fragrance. But with that said, if that's what you get, that's awesome. I just based on my opinion of the fragrance, I get again closer to almost like a higher quality tobacco vanille that is well blended, and instead of the vanilla, you mix that together with again the tobacco, the spice, and then you have a nice high quality honey similar to that of Zaharov Orem, and then you blend that all together, and then you have this masterpiece that is Guerlain's tobacco honey. I just don't see it vanishing and switching forms into Initio side effect, which again, for me, is a lot of that hedoin, a lot of the vanilla and saffron, and then you also have that rum that really takes full force of that fragrance, which there's none in this fragrance. So I don't, and we'll see. Obviously, I don't know because I'm not there yet, but I will figure it out when I get there. But I appreciate your opinion. Tobacco honey is really good, and the honey is the closest thing to Orem, but it's a different scent. I wouldn't buy it, but I can see why people loving it. It's polarizing. It's definitely polarizing, but again, you have to be somebody that really appreciates tobacco vanille. Like for me, one of my favorite fragrances is tobacco vanille. So I don't care if it's like one of the original fragrances and people look down on tobacco vanille nowadays, especially people in the fragrance community. It's one of my favorites. Always has been, always will be. And this is, it almost seems like it's tobacco vanille's bigger brother. And I think it's great. But like Mo said, if you like the honey from Orem, this is a different style of scent for sure. It doesn't smell like Orem. Orem is a really strong manuka, or like a really strong honey, and then it turns into almost this kind of like hazelnut slash chocolatey fragrance. This one's not like that. I was just comparing that small bit of honey that is in this fragrance that is just underneath that beautiful tobacco. It smells like you're in a cigar shop and then you have like a spoonful of this honey that you're smelling, and it has a little bit of spice underneath. Very simplistic, but I really do enjoy it. Sandy, it all depends on your style. I love sweet tobacco fragrances like this. Like, again, some of my favorite fragrances, Tobacco Vanille, Parfums de Marley Herod, even Zaharoff Naxos, they're up there. Love sweet tobacco fragrances. If you like sweet tobacco fragrances, specifically Tobacco Vanille, Tobacco Honey is worth a purchase, but I wouldn't just buy it off rip, obviously, $395 or whatever. But um, but this is the best way that I can put this fragrance, and then I'll be done with it. It is a smoother tobacco, but very similar to that of Tobacco Vanille as the main part of the fragrance where I am now. In the middle is a nice, beautiful blend of spices, and then underneath it, a little bit more potent in the first 5 minutes, but underneath that is a very high quality honey that is very, very similar to the honey from Aurum. Take those three and throw them all together. That is what this fragrance smells like. If you can really wrap your head around that, then you'll know what I'm talking about. It's fantastic. I know somebody said it smelled like Naxos. I personally don't get that, but hey, if that's the way that you smell it, that's the way you smell it. Hey, I can't really knock you for that, and it's what you smell. I definitely get the tobacco from Tobacco Vanille, Frank Boclet, Boclet, with a lot of honey and some earthiness. Quality stuff for sure. Yeah, I absolutely love it. I'm not willing to say it's a 10 yet because I haven't got to the dry down, but I really, really enjoy the fragrance. Mo, I get, okay. Talking to Mo. John, I'm trying to get to John Carlos card. So let me click on it. I'm interested to know, John Carlo, do you like this fragrance? Sorry, MPG. Randy, look up the notes for niche hot tobacco when you have time. I think you would really enjoy it. I feel like somebody's asked me that before, but I definitely will do that when I get off of this. John Carlo, have you tried tobacco honey before? Me and you have very similar tastes, especially lately, and I have a feeling that your thoughts on the fragrance would really sway me one way or the other as far as whether I want to make it a 10 or not. I personally prefer the more dry, aromatic, earthy tobacco notes, but I can see the appeal to the sweet blends of tobaccos and honey, vanilla, and cherry. See, yeah, I'm on the other. I don't like the dry, aromatic, earthy tobaccos, which I know exactly what you're talking about. There's one specific one which is kind of on the polarizing side. It is Bull's Blood from Imaginary Authors. If Patrick's Life, if you haven't tried that, you should probably try that fragrance. Bull's Blood is really dry, really earthy. It's very polarizing, so you might want to give that one a shot. That one's real tough, though. With that said, though, yes, me and you were on completely different sides of the spectrum. I know what you're talking about. Those aren't my style of fragrances. My style of fragrances are the Naxoses of the world, the Aurums of the world, that kind of stuff. I like the sweet tobacco fragrances. Herod, whatnot. Tobacco is one of my favorite notes. Dry or sweet, although I prefer sweet. Well then, Sandy, you're definitely going to like this. It's one of the smoothest fragrances I've ever smelled. It's very simplistic. That's why I said if you understand the comparisons that I'm making, the Aurum and the Tobacco Vanille and then the spices, if you can imagine those in your head and throw them all together, then you'll know what this smells like. If somebody told me that personally before I tried this, I'd be able to visualize what this smells like. So I'm being 100%, you'd be 100%, you would know what I'm talking about. Dolce & Gabbana Velvet and Senso EDP, have you tried? I have tried the clone of it that is at Marshall's, but I haven't tried the original because they don't sell those fragrances in my area. But I did like the clone, and some people told me that it was, outside of the quality, it was very close. And so I really liked it. And so, yes, I have tried the clone of it, just not the original. Guerlain Honey Tobacco versus Zaharoff Tobacco versus Tobacco Vanille. See, I find the Zaharoff tobacco on more of that earthy, aromatic tobacco side and not the sweet side. So to me, that one should be pulled out of the conversation, and it would be more tobacco honey versus tobacco vanille. And in this case, it really, for me personally, I would say tobacco honey because I love tobacco vanille, but I just love the mixture of the honey in this. But I'd have to smell them side by side. I think that would be a great video. I think I'm going to do a video on tobacco vanille versus tobacco honey because they are very similar, and it's whether you like the vanilla or whether you like the honey. And I think that in this case, I think the honey and the quality, because even though whoop, hiccup, um, even though I think that tobacco vanille has a good quality to it, it just seems like Guerlain's is just a bit smoother and just has, even though you really can't get that oil, it just seems like the quality is there. And it's just a little bit higher quality. So I would have to go with Guerlain's honey tobacco to my tobacco honey. I'm just not quite there yet. I'm not all the way through, and I know I like tobacco vanilla. I know I love to wear that fragrance. So we will see. How about I'm gonna wear tobacco vanilla tomorrow, and then I'll wear tobacco honey the next day, and then we'll see how it goes from there. I agree with you on the tobacco vanilla Orem impression, and also barely any Naxos vibe in my opinion. Tobacco honey is not a 10 for me though. Yeah, I see. The more I'm smelling it, the more I'm thinking I'm gonna stick with a 9.7 because it's hard, or maybe like a 9.5. And the only reason it's going down that road is because if I can compare it to that many fragrances, I don't think that it has the uniqueness factor to warrant it being a 10. And so that's why I need to wear through it though, because I do love it, and it's one of my favorite fragrances I've smelled this year. And it's crazy because Panadora, that Moonlight that I just tried, if you mix that together with the Guerlain tobacco honey, as far as like 2 out of the 4 fragrances I tried tonight are 2 of my favorite. I would say they're 2 of the best fragrances I tried all year, and it's crazy that we got them in one live stream. But I can't say I get the Naxos similarity either. The honey in Guerlain smells more authentic and natural. Yeah, I agree. I don't get the Naxos similarity because Naxos has uh, that synthetic honey, which is kind of like the sugar bear honey, like I was telling you guys about. It has that smell. While I love Naxos, don't get me wrong, it's just a different spectrum. There's different. You just know when you're getting a top tier fragrance. And Naxos, while it is a great fragrance, it's just not in that like spectacular range where you get that real high quality. It doesn't meet it on the quality spectrum. And so while it is more higher quality than Pure Havana, I'm still comparing it to Pure Havana. And so you're comparing it to what was a $70 fragrance. So yeah. Tobacco vanilla and plum japonais cannot be topped, as you know, Randy. Tobacco, see, that's why I need to compare them. If I compare it, that might be what draws it either up to a 10 or down to a 9, is when I do my comparison to tobacco vanilla, because I already know tobacco vanilla is a 9.5 for me. I know plum japonais is a 9.5 for me. They are 2 of my top 5 fragrances of all time. If I do the Guerlain's tobacco honey, and I compare it to tobacco vanille, and tobacco vanille is my favorite, how can I put tobacco honey as a 9.5? I can't, because tobacco vanille would be better. So I don't want to just push the issue right now. I want to wait until I get to that point where I'm trying both of them right next to each other, and I can say, yeah, this one's better and this one's better. Or this one's better, and then I can rate it after that. I don't want to give it a 10 just yet. It's just I haven't smelled anything this good since tobacco vanille, and as far as tobacco fragrances are concerned. So it's a very exciting fragrance for me. And somebody said Randy finally got back into the fragrances, like he's more interested in them now. And these 2 fragrances really did bring me back. And so it's definitely exciting. Saks Fifth Ave has discounts on all fragrances right now, including niche fragrances. Yeah, Saks Fifth Avenue has some really good in-store discounts as well. If you guys haven't seen that, I know I get a lot of fragrances from Saks off Fifth and Saks Fifth Avenue. They always have Bond number 9 and stuff. It's just compare the sites. A lot of times Saks does have the good prices though. Just give it a 9 and be done with it. I'm not doing anything until I get to the final part of this fragrance. I'm wearing 4 fragrances right now, so it wouldn't be fair for me to judge it right now. And so based on a live stream, I'm just going to say right now it's a 9.5, which is where I have Tobacco Vanille ranked. And then once I smell them together, then I'll tell you guys on the next live stream whether it's a 10, whether it's a 9.5 or a 9. But I really enjoy it. I think it's fantastic. And it's not drying down like Initio's side effect. It doesn't have that smell. But with that said, if you smell that, then you smell it. I've smelled things, and I know there was a Mind Games fragrance that I said it smelled like Paco Rabanne 1 million. And somebody, or Ross was like, what the fuck are you smelling? I was like, I don't know. That's just what I smell. And so, I mean, if you smell that, then you smell it. I think you will rank it. That's probably what I was thinking that too. Like it's probably going to be real close to Tobacco Vanille, but I think Tobacco Vanille might actually win. Because I was thinking, wait, do I like the honey better? Do I like the vanilla better? I always have loved Tobacco Vanille. There's a reason why it was my first ever niche fragrance. And so we'll see. That was day 3. Yeah, that was right. Yeah, day 3 Downtown Deja Vu. I was thinking Mind Games because I did them on the same week. Patrick's like, I remember that day. That was nuts. I said Downtown Deja Vu smelled like Paco Rabanne's 1 million. And Ross was like, what the fuck are you smelling? I was like, I don't know. It's just what I smell. You can't tell me that I don't smell that. Just some things come across differently to other people. But yeah. And I agree with you. I get a similar 1 million. So he's not like that. Well, Patrick, I'm glad that you're on my side. What's your honest review of Prada Black? It was an arm reach, so I might as well just grab it. My honest opinion is when I first got it, I hated it. I didn't really, not hate it, it's just I didn't see the hype. People were hyping it out of control, and I mean, to this day, I still won't like hype it out of control, but as far as date night fragrances go for all year round, Prada Black, it's a musky amber fragrance with a slight touch of iris in there, and they say caramel, but there's no fucking caramel in it. It's just a really nice blend of designer amber designer amber and musk, and it's simplistic, and women absolutely adore it. So if your aim is to please the woman in your life, then just buy it. But my personal opinion, it's an 8 to an 8.5. I think it's a really above average fragrance as far as date night designer fragrances go. It's priced right, and you really can't go wrong with it. So, I mean, I think it's simplistic, but very nice. One of the better date night designer fragrances out there. And it doesn't really smell like anything else like that I can think of. Like there's other things that smell in the same realm, but just it has its own uniqueness that it smells like a Prada, but I don't know. Tom Ford Noir de Noir. Is it still a great fragrance? I wouldn't be able to tell you because I've never smelled Noir de Noir. I've tried about 70 Tom Ford fragrances. Noir de Noir has never been in one of my stores, and no one has ever sent it to me. So I have never tried it, and unfortunately, I probably never will unless somebody sends it to me. And I remember you almost vomiting after smelling Say Less. Yeah, I gave that decant to my wife and said, hey, this is a really good one for females. She tried it, and she goes, what the fuck are you talking about? I was like, yeah, I did that on purpose. And then I gave her one of my Louis Vuittons so that she could, and so I can make up for it. I have a battle off of Panadora Moonlight, Amore Cafe, Silver Blue, trying to see if they knock off Bond New York Nights as a Mentor is too pricey. Panadora Moonlight is better than Mentor. Panadora Moonlight is better than Amore Cafe. Panadora Moonlight is better than Bond New York Nights. That's my opinion. I think Panadora Moonlight beats all of them, including Mentor, which Yeah, I definitely think that you should try that. Van Cleef and Arpels in general is a very underrated hidden line. Me, Newton, Mo had to get Ross to try a few of them, and every one of them he tried. He's just like, yeah, that's great. Um, Van Cleef and Arpels Orchid Leather. It sounds like it's going to be a leather heavy fragrance, but it's actually a plum dominated fragrance, and it's one of the best fragrances for the price. It's like 60 to 70 bucks. You should definitely try that fragrance out, as well as Ombre Imperial. Um, Apparently, Black XS doesn't have pineapple listed, but I drastically prefer that to Aventus. All the Aventus likes, etc., and basically anything with pineapple, but it's pretty much similar to the Yellow Arrows. The Yellow Arrows smells like a lemon head and then dries down like Aventus cologne. If anybody says anything different, I love the opening. The dry down doesn't do anything for me. I think it smells nice in the dry down. I prefer Aventus cologne to it because it kind of has this sour smell to it. But the opening to that is just, I love the lemon head smell. The lemon head smell is just so good. But there's so many freaking Aventus clones out there. How about this? There's an Aventus clone by this house called Contra. I can't remember the name, but they sell them at Marshall's for like 12 bucks. I went into Perfume Mania in the mall. It just opened up, and they had the Contra clone for $112 or $113. And I said, "You guys know that this is a Marshall's fragrance that sells for $12, right?" And they were like, "I was like, do people actually listen to you and buy that crap?" I mean, it's Contra. You can look it up online. It sells for 10 and 12 bucks. I don't know why you guys are trying to sell for 100 and some dollars. If you ever go into a mall and you find a fragrance place like that, use it to test things and never buy in those places. They're stupid. They are dumb. That includes like Fragrance Emporium, that includes Perfume Mania, that includes pretty much any of those stores like that. Never buy in them. Only buy online. Use them to test fragrances. But yeah, don't buy. Um, Newt, worth picking up, like Aventus style fragrances too. Oh, still talking about that. Okay. Um, I somebody commented, but then it clicked. There we go. Yeah, we figured that earlier. Steve, the Zerjoff we were talking about was Italica. Yeah, we found that out right after I said it, about 5 minutes after. Mo said Newt said it was Italica. What do you think about Azara the Most Wanted? I think that it's one of the best designer fragrances in existence. Some people, I mean, a very small portion of people don't like it because they think it smells like grape soda or something. But Azara the Most Wanted, if you ask most women out there, doesn't matter what age, all of them pretty much like it. It's always been one of my favorite designer fragrances, always will be one of my favorite designer fragrances. If you would have asked me a year ago, it was one of my favorite fragrances in general. It still is, but I think that Wanted by Night has kind of crawled up with that, but it's because I blend the two together. But Azara the Most Wanted is fantastic. And I will always say it's fantastic. I don't care what anybody says. Um, Wanted by Night is one of the only 5 fragrances I have a backup bottle of. Wanted by Night is fantastic. It's my wife's favorite fragrance, so yes, it's always going to be a lifer. I have 2 backup bottles actually. So, um, a lot of people said before the Most Wanted Parfum was released that the original Most Wanted smelled like grape soda. Then Most Wanted Parfum came out and said, "Oh wait, actually this smells more like grape soda," and where I can see, because of the ginger bourbon vanilla mixture, I can see that smelling like grape soda. It has more going on to it. If you actually can separate the notes in your head, it smells great. But yes, I can see what you're saying with that. Yes. Are you looking forward to smelling Bois Pacifique? No. The reason I'm not looking forward to it, Sandy, is because it is a re-release of a fragrance that I did not like. And I've heard that it's pretty much the same thing, but if it is the same thing, I can't remember. The Bois Moroccan, was that the name that it used to be? It's just a re-release of an old Tom Ford. And with that said, I did not like that old Tom Ford, and if I remember correctly, not many people did. And so yeah, it's here. I'll tell you in a second. Um, Bois Pacifique Tom Ford. Mm, I'm acting like I'm not even on a live stream now. I'm humming to myself. All right. Yeah, it's a apparently it's a re-release of Bois Moroccan. That's what it is, and I didn't like that fragrance. And so I did talk to Josh at Elroy Prepson um, on Instagram, and he bought the bottle, and he said that yeah, it's good, it's okay. It's just a re-release of Bois Moroccan, and I was like, okay, yeah, then I'm not gonna like it. I was like, because I don't like the woody powdery fragrances from back then, and I just looked it up right now, and Bois Moroccan has a 3.65 out of 5. And so I mean, try it for yourself. Sandy might be something that you do enjoy, but yes, it is a re-release of an older fragrance apparently. Um, I'm doing a video, Patrick, this week about my thoughts on 2025, what I'm expecting, and what I hope for. So like what I'm expecting is me saying this is what I'm guessing is going to happen, and what I'm hoping for is like what I wish they would do. But it's already looking like we're starting the year with a bunch of re-releases. Like we got um, re-releases and redundancy. We got the Stronger with You Parfum, which is just gonna smell like another freaking Stronger with You flanker. They're gonna make their money. People are gonna say it's redundant, and I'm gonna buy it. And then you're gonna get Gentleman's Society, whatever it is. Apparently there's a third flanker of that coming, which is probably gonna smell like Gentleman's Society with a twist. I need something new. There's a reason why I kind of took a step back from YouTube the last few months. It was because I wasn't buying any fragrances and I didn't have much to review, and I was super busy. But fragrances, honestly, in my realm, have been super boring as far as like new releases, because I am a new release channel. So I need to rethink the way that I do my channel and start buying, instead of buying 5 or 6 new release designers, buy something like Tobacco Honey and then just buy it and have a first impression of that. What we're gonna see. I'm hoping that we get something like I said last year, like Rouge de Chanel, where we had Blue de Chanel. Why not have Red de Chanel or Rouge de Chanel? I think that would be a really smart idea. But they'll probably just do Blue de Chanel elixir, and it's gonna smell like Blue de Chanel, and everybody's gonna love it. I don't know. Um, they'll do something, but I mean, they came out with Super Legera, and that stuff wasn't very good. I mean, it smelled like the worst version of a Laura Homme, and it was nice. It's just it was the worst version of a Laura Homme. And if anybody thinks I'm wrong, I mean, that's your personal opinion. But Super Legera, it just smelled like a aromatic, earthy version of the Chanel Allure Homme Sport line, and it was okay. I have predicting Rudish. Yeah, Giancarlo. If you go back to my 2022 video predicting 2023, I said Rouge de Chanel. I was like, wouldn't that be cool? And then we were also talking about Spice Bomb Ultraviolet. I was like, if we got infrared, and why not do ultraviolet? Like stick to that same storyline and maybe make it like a blue, like ultraviolet. Like it would like maybe have the blue be a little bit of violet. That would be cool, but who knows? Um, yeah, but I'm actually gonna save the Initio for next time because that will make it 4 fragrances for next time and 4 fragrances for this time, which will actually make it easier for the reviews and also not have to spend as much time. But if you guys ever want to go check out Cologne Curators, they are a new decant site because I know a lot of people always ask me where to get decants. There's a few places: Scent Rush, cologne curators. I'll put it in the chat. I'm also going to do a video about some of the best decanting places later this week or next week. But with that said, I'm going to go through the rest of the chat, and then we're going to get on out of here so you guys can go enjoy the rest of your week. For real, the only good thing about the redundant releases and re-releases is that it has saved my money in buy niche lists. So the last 2 years, I have bought 90% of the brand new designer releases that year. 2022, I bought every single brand new release that year. 2023, I bought all but 5, and then I ended up trying all the rest of them this year. This year, I bought maybe 50%, maybe 40% of the new releases, and I'm glad I did. This was one of the worst years for designer releases that there's been. It's been full of redundancy, and I'm happy with the ones I started buying in the beginning of the year. And to me, the best release this year was still the first release of the year, and that's Boss Ascent Elixir. And so, hey, it is what it is. Apparently, Hawass Fire is going to be a thing. Yeah, I know. I posted that the other day. I posted that like 2 weeks ago. It's apparently somebody said it was going to be. What did they say? Oh, like Hawass's version of Centaurus? Was that what it was? I don't know. I can't remember. I think somebody said it was supposed to be Hawass's version or Rasasi's version of Centaurus, but I have no idea. I want that too. And from what I talked to the Mugler rep, whenever she sent me the second bottle of this, so I bought this, and then I got contacted by a Mugler rep who sent me the entire women's line, and then in October she sent me another version of this, which I gave to my nephew. I said, "Are you guys doing more?" She goes, "You'll have to see," and then a wink. So I think that there's more coming from them. Will they be re-releases? I don't know, but it seems promising, at least upcoming. They might change the name from like Pure Havana or Pure Coffee to like something else, but maybe they'll bring back some of the DNA. I hope you're right. I also am really hoping that they bring back Killian's Single Malt. That was one of, apparently, that was one of the best fragrances back in the day with Plum, and I really hope they bring that back, and I also hope that they bring back Plum Japonais, because I love it, and I've always loved it, so yeah. And Mancera has that Fig Me Up releasing I'm super excited about. Mancera's hit or miss for me, especially with fruity fragrances, so we'll see. Patrick, I was talking about that in the beginning of the live stream. Boss Bottled Absolute. I have tried it, didn't review it because, and I talked about it on my live stream a bit when I had a decant of it, but it's a good fragrance, but it's a little bit too redundant for me to own. The redundancy issues are in comparison to Boss Bottled Elixir, Boss Bottled Triumph Elixir. It's kind of like those mixed together with like a touch of Leighton without the mint, and then amped up. It's like stronger than the Elixir, which you guys know I've never been a fan of strong fragrances. And so while it smells really nice, I just found it redundant, and it just wasn't my favorite from those three. And because I found it redundant, I'm just going to own the two that I like better, which is the Elixir. And so if you like Elixir and Triumph Elixir, then you would like that one probably. Just kind of take that patchouli, that sweetness, that incense, and then mix it together with that kind of warm, ambery sweetness that you get from Leighton. And then mix that together, make it a little bit deeper and richer and a little bit less sweet, and then you have Boss Bottled Absolute. You have 3 bottles of pure malt. I have 1. I had 2, but I sold the 1. I didn't need any more than that. It's very similar to Boss Bottled Elixir, I agree. It has a designer Carlisle feel with the Patchouli Divana. Yeah, I can see the Carlisle too. I mean, I say Leighton because it has that kind of PDM warm DNA, which Carlisle and Leighton both have that warm undertone DNA. I don't get as much of the Divana as what you're talking about, but I can see what you're saying. But I only tried it, again, 2 or 3 times. It wasn't like anything that I was trying to pick out the Divana because I already knew it wasn't something that I was going to care about. I understand it was hyped. I think it was overhyped. I think of the three, it's the worst of the three, but it's nice. I can see why people like it, but um, it's just it wasn't something that I cared for. I enjoy Triumph Elixir is my number one. Boss Bottle Elixir is my number two. They're very, very close though. I just prefer Triumph Elixir because it has a little bit more of the sweetness and a little bit less of the incense. Um, and then Boss Bottled Absolute is my third favorite, but I won't buy a bottle because I won't wear it. And I'm trying to avoid redundancy in my collection nowadays. And so, yeah. I started out my channel and I was just buying. I went from 30 bottles to 250 in a year. And so I was like, I gotta stop that. I tried Oud Saffron. I like Oud Saffron. I don't like Boss Bottled Oud though. I don't like the original Oud. Boss Bottled Oud to me smelled like a rotten log full of a diaper full of Indian food. It's like I hated it. Go watch my like first video. It was like my first video on my channel. I was like, I hate Boss Bottled Oud, but Oud Saffron's nice because the saffron takes that rotten log smell because it's designer Oud and it had a rotten log smell to me. But Oud Saffron, the saffron just kind of like balances it out, and it actually is pretty decent. Yeah, it's not like over the top, and I wouldn't really go out of my way to buy it because it's discontinued now. But yeah, it's good. I need wood to complete my Amen collection. I have a mini version of wood. I have a mini version of wood, and I have a mini version of shot. I have never tried coffee, and I've never tried Tonka. I've tried the chili pepper one. I tried the mint one, and I tried all the other ones. I haven't tried. I surprisingly haven't tried the original either, which is funny. Somebody talked me out of it, and then I never bought it again. I went to buy it. I have a mini version of wood. That's what she said. Man, I'm a child. Anyway, so it is 9/11. The time, not the day. And it would be that time. Anyway, so I am going to get off with my little wood. I'm going to get off the stream and go try to edit my video for tomorrow. If not, I'll have it out on Wednesday. But I appreciate all you guys. Again, my next video is going to be my top 10 fragrances for the winter. And so hopefully you guys have a fantastic week. And I'm going to try to be more active this week with my Scent of the Day posts and stuff like that. Now that I'm not working 12 hours every day, I'm only working 10. But yeah. Cheers, everybody. I saw Sandy, so I said cheers. I just like saying cheers. Now that people say cheers to me, I'm like, cheers, even though it's not like my everyday language. I love saying it. But have a great day. Have a great week. I'll talk to you guys. Make sure you're smelling great. Make sure to hit that like on your way out, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out. Good night, Mo.